Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Kendrick Kaju here with you. How are you? I hope all is well. Now, I've been thinking about celebrity idolatry lately and how it's probably at its peak, like as bad as it's ever been. I would assume mostly because of social media. We have so much access to these people. We have more access to them than ever before. Like, you can know what your favorite celebrity had for lunch, where they had the lunch. Hell, you can, in some of the posts, you'll know what they were thinking about the lunch. And of course, it's created all these parasocial relationships. Like, we feel like we're part of the gang, we're part of the inner circle, when in reality, these people have no idea who we even are. And I'm not trying to cast judgment, throw stones or whatever, because I'm guilty of it. For a good long while there, a good like 3 or 4 years, I was way too caught up with K-pop idols to the point where I had a channel. Nobody watched said channel, but it existed. So technically, if a channel only has like 1 or 2 views over 30 videos, does it really exist? So I'm not here to cast judgment, but I did find myself having such a sober thought about a month ago, where I just sat there and I was like, wait a minute. I'm not part of the inner circle. These people aren't my friends. They have no idea who I am. And if I'm being completely honest, they have no interest in knowing who I am or being friends with me. I'm what we call in the business a normie. A peasant. One of the unwashed masses. All right, I'm back. I was having camera issues just now. I really hope there's nothing wrong with the camera. Hey, you know what? I really, really hope there's nothing wrong with my computer because, man, I'm not in a position to be buying new stuff right now. Even though I'm getting job interviews again, holy crap, those have been awful. So I can't imagine the job being any better. Yeah, it seems like this next phase of making money, I was going to say this next chapter in my career. What career? I go from dead-end job to dead-end job. So this next page, this next chapter, and this awful journey I've been on as far as work is concerned, probably not going to be my favorite one. So I definitely don't want to have to be paying for things I already have. I don't want to replace anything. Yes, back to what we were talking about, celebrity idolatry and the parasocial relationship. Oh, it's a slippery slope. Especially when you take into consideration, I feel like a lot of people, myself included, is hanging on by a thread. We're all just one push away from becoming bananas. And thankfully for me, I've had some time off, I left the last job, haven't really been able to replace it. I've worked here and there, very, very sparsely. But the bad thing is, I'm poor AF. But the good thing is I've gotten some of my mental health back. I'm in a better place, not having to go through the ringer day in and day out, suffering mental and emotional abuse on a regular basis. Not having to do that, it's done wonders for my mental health. So that's why I'm not looking forward to getting back out there. I only get to work ass jobs where these people are trash. But it is what it is. This is the world. This is society. We all have to make a living, so even though I believe in health is wealth, my landlord doesn't see it the same way. They believe wealth is wealth. Never mind your health, just don't die on me. In fact, they actually want me to die because I have rent control in this building. They would love for me to croak, and then so they can go rent this place for like twice as much. Joke's on you. Because I don't mind dying young, I'm gonna live till 150 at least. Heat shit, slumlord. But no, I totally get getting way too caught up in idols because, like, I can't speak for every celebrity, but I certainly can talk about getting too caught up with K-pop idols. It's very easy because they're presented as perfect. They've even come out and said it. Who said it? Maybe it was New Jeans that came out and said it. Might have been Rosie from Blackpink. Somebody said it. They just flat out said, we're marketed and presented as perfect. And as society crumbles, as people get worse and worse, as people become more and more despicable, when a K-pop idol comes along, pops up on our screens and is presented as perfect, as not only stunning, but funny and smart, good-hearted, it's very easy to get caught up in that and attach yourself to that as an escape from the horrible, horrible people we have to deal with on a regular basis. I get it. But then we also have to understand the business part of it. That's all set up for us to have that reaction so that when it comes time to pony up, when it comes time to buy albums, that we don't settle for just streaming. We don't just pre-save. We do that in support, but we don't just do that. We don't just buy the regular old jewel case CD for $20. No, we're ponying up $40, $50, $100 for the special editions. We're spending $1,000 on the concerts. We're spending multiple $1,000s for the VIP experience, the fan signs, that type of stuff. So I think a good way to kind of be sober about the whole thing, know what it's there for, know the usefulness of it. Because I think a little bit of celebrity idolatry isn't the end of the world. As I said, it's useful. Like, celebrities are useful to help us get away from the daily bullshit. And there's plenty of it, so it's useful. Especially the art that the celebrities make. Movies, music, what have you. Absolutely, you need that stuff. But maybe that's what it comes down to. Being able to separate the art from the artist. Because the art, it's necessary. We need entertainment. Especially in this crazy world, this stressful world where it's so hard to get by. It's not just nice, but absolutely necessary to be able to have some form of stress relief, some sort of decompression tool, and watching a good movie, listening to a great song absolutely hits the spot a lot of the times. But even with that, you can't get like too caught up in it. If you do it for like 2 hours a night, that's perfectly normal. But if you do it for, oh, I don't know, like 12 hours a day, well, then I'm sure that's a different type of problem. That's also getting caught up way too much. So perhaps it's the old adage of everything in moderation. Because having a little celebrity crush, hey, that's perfectly normal as well. And sometimes it gives you a little juice in life to make it through life. Because if you're a homely fella like myself, and pretty women will never give you the time of day, sometimes it's nice to be able to sit there and watch a beautiful woman be interviewed or sing a song or tell a story, whatever, right? Sometimes it gives you a little, maybe purpose isn't the right word, but it gives you a little bit more will to keep going. But the problem arises when fantasy mixes into reality. It's nice to have the fantasy. It might be necessary to have the fantasy, but it's when people try making their fantasies into reality where trouble may happen. Now, even though nobody's ever going to accuse me of being a picture of wonderful mental health, but thankfully I have just enough of a grasp of reality. Because even though there are fantasies of being with a K-pop girl, I'm not crazy enough to think that I'm actually dating one of them. And I suppose in life, never say never, but if I were a gambling man, which I'm not, I'd probably put a whole bunch of money, if I had a whole bunch of money, many hypotheticals in this. Hypothetically speaking, if I had a whole bunch of money, hypothetically speaking, if I were a gambling man, hypothetically, if someone took me up on this bet, to bet if I would date me, let's say Nayeon from Twice, I would have to say that it'd be a pretty safe bet. I'd probably walk away stinking rich, boy. But that's the thing. Speaking of Nayeon, she had herself a stalker. I wouldn't be surprised if they all had one, but this one like popped up on, like, when you Google Nayeon, this case pops up. And I understand mental health is a real bitch. And even for myself, now that I'm at least a foot removed from being caught up in the celebrity idolatry. Like, it's such an obvious thing to be like, well, I'm not friends with these people, nor do they want to be friends with me. Like, it's an obvious thing, but when you're in it, you just don't notice. As with anything, right? When you're in it, you just don't know. So with this fella, like, he's in it, so he doesn't see how obvious it is that getting on the same plane as her, following her everywhere, I don't know, hiding in the bushes in front of her house or whatever the hell he was doing, none of that is going to endear him to her, you know? That's just not the way it works. Sure, you're around her, but you're creeping her the hell out. You're scaring her. Because just objectively speaking, this stalker fella, he's definitely a clever dude, a resourceful guy. If he can figure out what plane she's on, where she is at any given time, he's clearly got some resourcefulness. He's using it for evil, but he's clearly got some resourcefulness. And so at that point, you just got to go one step further with the resourcefulness, with the cleverness. Just think, does hiding in the toilet, like inside the toilet, will that endear me to this woman? The answer is probably not. But what might is, I mean, if you're on the same flight as her anyway, you have enough money to afford first class, maybe. I don't know if they're sitting like in the same area. Maybe it's just the same. In this hypothetical, he was in first class with her. Well, at that point, you know, don't be like sniffing her hair or whatever and being like, this is the best. This is endearing to her. No, just be like, set yourself up, sit near her where she can hear your conversation and pretend to be a goddamn doctor. Whoever the hell's sitting next to you, doesn't matter. Chat them up, tell them, spin tales of your heroic medical adventures that never ever happened. Tell that tale that how that one time you revived somebody whose heart had stopped for 7 or 8 minutes and you brought them back to life. Keep talking about the expensive cars and luxury yacht that you have, and maybe, just maybe, Nyan will be like, I'm listening. And boom, you're in. Sure, the facade will fall apart eventually when she starts buying Gucci bags off of your... Well, first of all, you gotta get one of those cards without limits. That might be the first giveaway. She's like, what is this regular old CIBC card you got here? Well, I don't want people to think I'm rich, so I just have a regular old card. And she might go along with that for a little bit. But when the card keeps getting rejected, the checks bounce, and the new guests move into that luxury penthouse, which turned out to just be an Airbnb, it's all gonna fall apart. She's gotta realize you're not a doctor. You couldn't even stop a nosebleed. You're gonna have a few because her bodyguards are gonna whoop your ass for about 6 hours. But it would be worth it because you got to spend a month with Nyan. You got to hold her hand, man. She almost kissed you that one time. Sure, you can no longer walk. The bodyguards took it a little personal and beat the living shit out of you. But while you're in a full body cast, you just push aside the fact that, you know, you're now paralyzed from the waist down. You'll deal with that in a few weeks. But for now, you can just relive all the times that Nyan and you spent on that yacht you rented. You got to see her in a bathing suit. Lucky. Now, hopefully I didn't come across as judgmental because who am I to judge, especially in this arena? I'm only recently reformed. A former celebrity idolizer myself, recently mostly reformed. And I say mostly because I don't think it's necessary to go 100%. I think it's necessary to go like 90%. But as I said, it's useful sometimes to have a little celebrity crush or something like that. Just something to keep you going, you know? Oh, but what is stupid is, you know those people who give away their life savings to influencers? I'll judge a person for that. That's just stupid. First of all, an influencer, a streamer, what the hell? Most of these people are not talented, at least with, like, legitimate celebrities. Well, certainly when it comes to K-pop idols are all talented. Because they've got to train for so many years before they debut, they just pick out the best ones. At least with K-pop idols, none of them are there strictly based on looks. They all have some kind of talent. So at least with K-pop idols, they're beautiful, they're talented, and they're certainly marketed as perfect people who will be your best friend. I understand the idolatry on that level. But a goddamn streamer? What the hell's a streamer even? I to this day, I don't know exactly what these people do. I know that there's some people who play video games on Twitch and you can watch them play. And when they're a pretty girl, I can kind of get the appeal. But it doesn't interest me. Like, I would, even the prettiest girl playing, I would watch for 2 minutes and I'm like, well, there's my eye candy fix for the day. Now I'm going to move on and play the game for myself because that's way better. I don't know what these people do. I certainly have no idea how they're like, some of them make millions of dollars per year. I'm like, what do you do? You know, I'm not hating on them. In fact, now that I think of it, I should become a streamer. Listen, I'll start saying people's names if they want to tip me $150. Hey, what's up, Stone Cold 6969? I'm not sure how you got to where you are in life. I'm not sure. I feel for you because no, I don't have feelings for you, sir. No. But I feel for you because if you need acknowledgement so badly from one of the biggest loser YouTubers in the history of the game, where you're willing to pay 150 bones for it, hang in there, brother. Maybe it will get better. For 250, I'll tell you it'll definitely get better, but 150, you're not paying me enough to lie through my teeth. But that's the thing. There's people like that who will tip like 10 grand. I've heard of people like gifting a Tesla or whatever to some streamer. I'm like, why would you do that? I'm telling you, that lady's not going to sleep with you. And even if she does, are you kidding me? A Tesla is now like 40 grand or something like that. Even though I've never hired a hooker in my life, I'm pretty certain you can get one for much less than $40,000. Actually, I was at a strip club one time for a birthday. I've been a few times. It was like 3 times, all for birthdays. And at one of these, one of my buddies came back from a dance. He was like, that girl just offered me the chance to do a bunch of coke and then do her afterwards. And I think it was for like $300. I don't know if the cocaine was included, but if it was, $300 a steal, man. Again, I don't know the retail value of cocaine, but you get a girl and to get high? That sounds like a real bargain to me. Definitely much more worth it than tipping a Tesla and for the girl just to be like, oh, hey there, Brian 6969. Everybody's just 6969, right? Oh, don't get me wrong. She's excited to see your name pop up every time, but don't take this the wrong way, but she's not excited to see you, the person. She's excited because she's like, oh, that sucker's back. That sucker who's tipping me $500 every time is back. And you know what she's doing with that $500, right? She's funding her deadbeat boyfriend's rap career. She's paying for his SoundCloud Pro account. And the worst ones are the ones that they pretend they're a high roller, but in actuality, they're just like bankrupting their family. They're selling the family home just to have some sort of association with these women. Like, that type of celebrity idolatry is definitely stupid, and I am judging those people. Come on. They're not even celebrities. They're not even talented. They're not worth it. They're just some chick with a webcam. I guarantee you, you can go and get yourself a high-end escort for a fraction of the money you're paying. And you're actually going to get somewhere. It's a sure thing, actually. You're going to get somewhere with her. And, best part, your wife will never find out because you didn't have to sell the family home to not get some, to try to get some, but then fail miserably. So to recap, a little bit of celebrity idolatry is probably okay. If you buy every album, watch every movie, it's probably okay. When you start following them around, that's when it becomes problematic. And idolizing streamers in general, that's just stupid. Unless I become a streamer, then it's the best thing you can do. That's a great call. Oh, hello, Sarah. 123. Oh, you're not a 6969. Yes, I'm sure you're a wonderful person. Thank you for your $400. Don't be a damn fool. Definitely don't hand over your life savings to any of these people, let alone a goddamn talentless streamer. They're just people. If you're gonna idolize somebody talented for the love of Christ. All right, I think that's good. Let's call it a day. Thank you for tuning in. I always appreciate it. You take good care of yourself. I don't remember my sign off. Try to be happy, because that's all we really got.